Yeah, stay in that spot.
Perfect. So what I would do is I would save 70% of what I made, and I would invest that 70% and live only on 30%, because I always believed you needed to live below your means. But like Grant, he was acquiring real estate in the apartment area. I was acquiring real estate in the mobile home area. Today, I own 125 mobile home parks around the country, and it's been a great business for me, the same way Grant has really figured out and built the model around the business of apartments. And my main business, though, is advertising and marketing, and that's how Grant and I have known each other for over 25 years, and I built one of the largest ad agencies in the country. But let me tell you all what's very important. I never borrowed bank dollars ever. As Grant will tell you, no bank would loan me money because I had no collateral to give the bank when I was building Zimmerman. So it forced me to build it off of my own cash flow, to reinvest it into the company. Grant's been to my building. He knows, I have a 150,000 square foot building. I have 15 offices, 2,200 employees. And it started with the $10,000 investment. So my advice to everyone on the phone was, yes, have a core business like many of you have spoken about, but also have great strategic investments. I do own some apartments, just like Grant. I do have my mobile home parks. I do have other investments, shopping centers, office building, and things like that. But I also am in the SPAC game. I started my first SPAC in 2008. I just threw another one out there just last week. So in the SPAC game as well. But I want to open up for any questions anyone might have, and and try to answer them to the best of my ability.
Yeah, no, we're already we opened up for questions. We've been doing questions for 2 hours, man. So I just wanted to hear your story, Jordan, and let everybody know this guy started with 10 grand years ago, 10,000, and anybody can put 10,000 together. And then, but what he had to do was he had to roll it. Daymond, what'd you start FUBU with?
$40. But
damn.
No, but I then closed it 3 times from 89 to 92 because I would then borrow against credit cards and do the dumb things, and I would run out of capital. But I would run out of 2,000, then I'd come back and run out of another 2,000, and then I'd run out of another 2,000. But I didn't have a lot of mentors at my age at that time. And what I noticed is a lot of people that do start businesses, if they don't have mentors, it's usually the 4th or 5th or 10th business that really clicks, because the first business you had too much funding. The second business, you had enough funding, but not the right paperwork. The third business, so on and so on, right? The right funding, the right paperwork, not the right partners, or not the right distribution, or not the right knowledge. And then it finally took off, in 98. So that was 9 years after I laid out that first $40. But the good part, it is still paying today, even when I'm sleeping,
Thank you guys so much for that. So we're going to keep going. Jordan, thank you for being here on the panel with us. Tim, welcome. Grant's talking today about money, how to get it, keep it, and multiply it. Did you want to share a tip, or did you have a question?
And guys, put yourselves back on mute when we move on. So, and then if you got input or intel or intelligence on some of these questions, it'd be awesome to have you guys moderators kick in.
Definitely. So Tim, are you there?
Yeah. Hey, Isis, how you doing?
Hey, Tim, how are you? So money, we're talking about how to get it, keep it, and multiply it. Do you have a question for Grant, or did you want to share a tip?
I wanted to share a tip mainly, and also ask a question. But
go for it.
Yeah, what I just wanted to say was how I get it in terms of what we do is basically started a business a year ago. On what we do is we do business in China, and then we're a brand building company, and we moved them over to the United States, and we basically help them get started, because there's a lot of high value businesses on Amazon that don't necessarily know how to brand themselves outside of Amazon. So what we do is we help them move over to the US and handle everything for them, like the whole 360 model of their business. So that's how we get it. How we keep it is we deliver the great service. So, we deliver every single month in terms of making sure that their revenues go up and our ad spend stays low and that the ROAS is high and stuff like that. And the way that I multiply it is investing in people. So now, we have staff that manage the operations and stuff like that. And that's how I've managed to multiply it and help the business grow, because investing in people so far has been one of the best investments I've ever made in my life. What I did want to say was like taking it now to the next step, because I rarely keep money myself, but the vast majority of the liquid money stays in the business, obviously, because we want to like reinvest in staff and we reinvest in software as well. So trying to build in-house software, not software that's going to be sold commercially. We're building in-house software that helps us analyze data and stuff like that to help grow the businesses. So what I just wanted to say was, so in terms of like investing in real estate and stuff, at what stage? Because at the moment, I'm a firm believer in investing in the business until you get to a point where the income is so consistently great that then you can then focus on investing in things that are just like real estate. So at what stage would you start investing in stuff like real estate?
Dude, you're right on. What you're doing is right on. It's a great question. And you're going to, like, when there's slop, when there's enough left over, you're like, I cannot reinvest this back in my business. It would be a waste. And you're probably there now. If you're asking the question, that's when you start throwing in. And that's when I did. When I had slop, when I'm like, okay, me putting this money back in my business cannot grow my business. Like it could, but it was mostly just sloppy. So I'm like, what am I going to do with this extra money? Everybody should have that as a target on your bucket list. Okay. You make enough money to where all your bills are paid and you're reinvesting in yourself and your business. I see a lot of people want to skip that step. Keep investing in yourself and your core skill set, whatever you're good at, get better, keep investing in you, then your business or department. And then when there's slop, leftovers, start pushing it into something that doesn't take away from number one and number two. Because I see a lot of people go make investments, they do a side hustle, and the side hustle crushes the main hustle, and they end up with nothing but a half-ass side hustle. How many of you moderators have seen that happen before?
Me.
All day. That's what I was talking about. You can't diversify too soon. You gotta stack on what you're doing.
Awesome. Hey, Grant, I also wanted to just tell people, we're doing this once a month or twice a month. We have a thing called the 10X Club. If you guys could do me a favor, click the little green Monopoly house on the top, and then on the bottom there, just click follow. So that way you get notified when we do these rooms.
Exactly. I was just about to reset. Tim, thanks for coming up. You're a good guy. We appreciate your question. So good morning, everyone. Again, Grant is here talking to you guys about money, how to get it, keep it, and multiply it. This conversation is brought to you by the 10X Club. There's a green Monopoly house above Grant's head. You want to click on it, follow the club so you can be tapped in whenever these conversations are happening once or twice a month. But that's not all you want to do. You want to follow Grant and his entire team that are on the stage right now. Follow them here. When you get on their page, click on the bell, change it from sometimes to always, so you always know when they're talking. Because like I always remind you, your hallway on Clubhouse is curated by the people you follow. So make sure you follow people like Grant that are value adders. Then you want to go over to Instagram. Follow him there too and follow his team there, and I'll tell you why.
Isis,
Hey,
what is the bell you talk about?
Okay, let me tell you what that is, Grant. So when we click on your profile right next to your lovely picture with Kevin Hart, there's a bell there. If they tap on the bell, sorry about that. So on your profile next to your picture, there is a button that says following. Next to following is a little bell. If they tap on the bell and they change it from sometimes to always, they'll always be alerted whenever you're speaking. Are you with me? Grant, you there? Grant, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm sure he gets it.
Okay, wonderful. So that's what we're talking about, guys. So when you click on Grant's profile or his team's profile, you're going to follow them. Next to the follow button, there is a bell. Change it from sometimes to always, so you always know when Grant's speaking, and you can always be tapped into these conversations. Then you're going to go over to Instagram, follow him there, and follow his team there, and I'll tell you why. There's over 2,000 people in this room. You may not get on stage today, but if you follow them on Instagram, you can slide into their DMs and ask a question and have an intimate conversation there. But I want to caution you. It might take a few days to get a response because their DMs are overloaded and overflowing. Just be patient. They'll get back to you. All right, we're going to keep going. The next question.
Isis, can we do one? Thank you for doing that, because I didn't even know where the bell was.
Of course, you're welcome.
Can you guys go down? If you pull down when she says refresh, that means you just pull down, and then it straightens up kind of the club, whatever that means. And if you go down 5 rows, there's a guy named Jordan there. And I just want to see if we can get this guy 1,000 followers because he's new here. I think this is his first or second time coming in here. So if everybody, he's got a black T-shirt on. He looks like he's all fit and tan because he spends too much time in the Hamptons. But if you guys don't mind following him as my friend, he's sitting next to Pete Vargas, my Hispanic, one of the great speakers of the world, my great Hispanic hookup, Pete Vargas. So if you can hit Jordan and give, oh, look, 749 right now, Jordan.
He's almost there.
I'm getting you. This is called digital equity, Jordan. Okay. Let's see if we can. There's 800. There's 800. Let's go. Come on, guys. Come on. Hey, let me tell you what, people have a problem following other people. I don't know if Daymond ever noticed this, that people don't want to hit the follow button. Like it makes you a follower or something. Daymond, have you ever done anything great by yourself?
Never. So it's a team sport. Entrepreneurship, life, it's a team sport. Absolutely.
I remember when I was in the beginning, I didn't want to, I wanted to be my own guy. And that cost me so much. If I went back and did it again, I'd be like, dude, I'm joining a team right from get-go street. Okay, take it away. I think we're probably going to hit 1,000 people for my little man, Jordan Zimmerman down there.
Thank you, Grant.
Hey, Grant, it's Samantha here. Have you done a welcome room for Jordan yet? Has anyone done his welcome room?
No, I ain't responsible for him.
All right, guys, let's keep going. Jordan is almost there, so we're going to keep this going. All right, the next person I have up is Martin. Martin, are you there? Oh, I'm sorry, it's Jesse. Jesse, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, good morning, Jesse. Hi, good morning, Jesse. This morning, Grant's talking about money, how to get it, keep it, and multiply it. Did you want to share a tip or ask him a question?
I had a question. So, Grant, I hear you talk about a lot the 40-40-20, how you budget. Is that specifically just for personal? Is that business? Or is that just everything commingled?
Yeah, well, it started in the beginning. Everybody starts as personal. So it was like if I made $4,000, $1,600 went for the government, $1,600 went for my savings, and I lived on the rest. It was almost impossible. Like, how do you live on $800? Well, you don't. So once you get disgusted with, and I did this, once I would take $1,600, push it over to the side and say, okay, that's for the I, R, and the S. And most of the time in the beginning, I didn't actually owe that $1,600, but I set it aside, and then I set another $1,600 aside for my savings, and then I'd had $800 left over. That's 40%, and 20% I lived on. My rent, and this was years ago, was $275 a month. There were months where I couldn't make my rent because I didn't hit my number, and I wouldn't pay the landlord, but I would pay myself. I'm like, shit, if I'm a cheat him, I'm gonna cheat me. Who I got to pick somebody to cheat. I ain't going to cheat me. So what happened was, and I don't want to cheat him either, right? So what happened was it forced my production during the week. I started working weekends when I had them off. I started working nights when I had nights off, and I started going in early because I didn't want to not pay anyone. And so the 40-40-20 rule basically forces you to figure out how to earn more money and how to keep the main thing. And then one day, even when I couldn't pay my rent, I was actually contributing to my future financial freedom. When I couldn't pay my rent, listen to everybody what I'm saying. When I couldn't pay my rent, I was still making investments, deposits into my financial future. When it gets to the business, how much do I save and invest in the business? Dude, it goes back to that slot methodology I talked about, right? I'm going to reinvest in the business as long as it's paying me. If If I put in $1 and I'm getting $1 out, I'm gonna keep doing that. When I start putting in $2 and I'm only getting $1 out and $3 and I'm only getting $1 out, I'm like, hey, I'm over investing in the business now, if that's possible. So some of that extra $2 needs to start going into other partnerships or other investments that can cash flow for me. Also, I want to make sure that we bring up Pete. We skipped Ronnie. Ronnie's been up here a long time. David Bainge didn't get to say anything. Pete and my friend Beth, who is awesome. So Isis, if you don't mind bringing those people up to say hello.
Absolutely. Brielle, if you could please bring them up for me.
Absolutely. They're on stage right now. We just are waiting for them to speak. So they're all moderators.
All right, wonderful. So let me take it over to David. David, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
We're so happy to have you.
So my version of this is, at this point in time in the growth of the business, is my marketing and my selling gets me what I need, gets me my money. Performing a great service, getting the reviews, all that kind of stuff helps me keep that money to recirculate it. And then I multiply it by duplicating myself with people that are like-minded to align with the business. Thanks to Grant and Brandon, teaching me that part of the business, it's definitely excelled the business quickly.
That's wonderful information and tips. Thank you for that. And Rhett, are you there as well?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, this is Rhett. I work with Grant and Alan and Jared in the marketing side of things. I'm here. I'm just learning. I'm not nowhere near their level, so every day I'm coming in and just trying to get it and collect so I can keep it and multiply it.
Sounds good to me. Ronnie, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, Ronnie, take it away. You there, Ronnie? You're on mute. All right, we'll come back to you. Pete Vargas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? So we're talking about money, how to get it, keep it, and multiply it. Did you want to share a tip with us?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Thanks, Grant. I appreciate the love and yeah, I just the way that how do I get it? One of the disciplines that I've had since I started in business 5 years ago is that I block 12 hours on my calendar throughout the course of the week, where I call it my Sam time. Yeah, I talk about how I'm married to Kim in my life, in my personal life, and I'm married to Sam in my business life. And I really encourage people to be married to Sam, and Sam is sales and marketing. And those 12 hours, all I'm doing is making sure that I have conversations. That's it. They're conversations. And so getting started in business, I was the one having conversations about our $50 product. The second year in business, I'm having conversations about our $2,000 product. And then, as you evolve into business, you're having conversations, as Grant and Jared know, I'm having conversations this year about, 6, 7, and even, potentially 8-figure types of clients. And so, and I've stayed disciplined through that for 5 consecutive years. Like literally no time is more important than my sales and marketing time on my calendar. And so that's how I've kept it or how I've gotten it. And keeping it is, I have a very similar concept. Just very similar to what Grant talked about. I invest in myself first. I have been for 20 years. I do have like a tax account, just like Grant recommended you guys to have, and always put 40% in there. That's exactly what we do. And then, live off of the rest. And so that concept is such a simple concept, but everybody out there complicates it. Grant just made it really, really simple for you, like really, really simple. And then how I've diversified it is in the last 2 years, we bought 2 companies because I know what a email is worth to me, or I know what a customer is worth to me. Like I know those numbers, I know my metrics. So we bought 2 companies the last 2 years and have literally reinvested into those 2 companies. And then we've gotten out of single family real estate just recently. We sold all of our single family real estate because just hearing Grant enough, it just didn't make sense for me to have all of those. And so we've gotten out of those, and we'll be having more conversations, about just with Grant. And I talked with Jared last week a little bit more about the commercial side. Cause just like, Daymond, I don't know Daymond's story, but Grant, it would be great that I really do want to talk with you. Jared and I chatted last week, and had some bad some experiences where when I don't really know something, it always kind of scares me. But that's how I've diversified it. So that's how I've diversified it.
You say you don't know my story? Well, you acting like you don't know me anymore?
No. I'm talking about like
he said he didn't know your real estate story.
Oh, okay. I'm just kidding you. I thought we were boys before you got on here. Damn.
No, your real estate story. That's the first I heard Grant say that. And I had a tough real estate story too in the kind of just that space. So that's what I meant, Daymond.
Well, I'm here to co-sign that you're the real deal. So absolutely, you are the real deal. So thank you for sharing that information. That's information about that Sam allocation. What was it, Grant?
Daymond, I just learned that cosign. I didn't know what the cosign meant. I had some guys in my office last week. Spectacular was in my office. He's like, "You need a cosigner, man." I said, "I don't think so." And he's like, "No, dude, you need cosigners. Trust me." And so I just learned that term last week.
You know what cosigning is? Come on, they're just using it today. I think, Grant. I think I'm too old to. I think we're using old words. I'm sure there's something else that
No, cosign's still it.
Yeah, it's still relevant.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to take this off course, but what does cap mean or no cap? I'm really trying to get hip to this.
All right, we'll tell you. So capping
lying.
means that you're showing off, kind of like, or lying.
Oh, you're lying or you're showing off?
Showing off, borderline lying, exaggerating.
Wait, what is this? What is this word?
Like when you
Capping,
cap, that means you're bullshitting. Like you're talking too much. Like it's
like,
not real facts.
Like Grant, back in your days?
Like that's real.
No, Grant, back in your days, jive turkey is now like anyway, let's get back to it. Let's get back to everything. Sorry.
We'll teach you guys all the lingo later. Don't worry. So we're going to keep going. Beth, you are here. You're a moderator. Can you talk to us about money, how to get it, keep it, and multiply it? And did you want to ask Grant a question as well?
Good morning, Grant, Isis, Daymond, Pete, Jared, all you guys. My first job, I was making $11,000. So I had to work Macy's and real estate on the weekends and nights. So that's how I got it. I worked my ass off. And then I started buying shopping centers, and that's how I kept it. And how I diversify it is by seeing and reading and listening and knowing that multifamily is the way to go. But I'm very active in buying and developing shopping centers. So then looking for someone who has done it successfully, vetted them, and then dealing with my fear and concern, Pete and Daymond, by only giving them a little bit. So I only gave Grant a little bit, and then I watched, and the little bit has turned to almost $1 million, and it's diversifying my $87 million in my shopping center portfolio. So that's how I worked my ass off. And everyone on this call that is under 30 years old and is not married and doesn't have kids should be working 7 days a week like I did. So that's how you get it. And then you keep it, and then you invest it. And in the beginning, invest with people that are doing it successfully and check them out. And I guess now the word is find someone that will co-sign them and then go for it.
Yes, Beth. Yes.
God, the world's going to be dangerous when white middle-aged women are walking around using a cosign word.
But Beth always knows how to take the conversation right before her and incorporate it in whatever she's saying. It's a Clubhouse classic, and she always knows how to do it. Great job, Beth.
Well, and my goal in life is to get whatever Ryan and Jared and Grant think is their 6% or whatever it is of women investors in Cardone Capital. We are going to get that to double digits by December 31 if I have anything to do with it. And I was on a call with a woman this morning, a doctor in Boston, and they're like, are you a partner with Grant? I'm like, no, I'm a real estate partner, but I'm not a partner in any of his stuff. I just make a lot of money from him, and I'm tired of women having fear. Hearing Daymond and Pete have fear is one thing. I don't understand that. But women having fear, I'm going to help women get over their fear, because I did a poll on LinkedIn, I don't know, a month ago, and I said, why are you not investing? And I said, here are your answers. One is fear. One is you don't have the money. One is it's too complicated and I don't like math. And the other one is a man in my life told me that that's not my job, which, don't get me started on that. And 80% was fear. So that makes me happy, because I know we can get over that.
Yeah, I want to clarify the narrative. I think you and Pete said something. Maybe people misunderstood what I was saying. I got screwed in real estate at first because I did it myself. So what I was saying is, as you make it, see, I believe in the world you need to make it, master, and matter. You may be able to do the same thing at the same time if you have a social cause. But what I was saying is, you go after the business, just like you did the shopping malls or whatever that case was. You grow that business, you extend that business in other ways. And maybe your shopping mall, you can own some of your retail shops or whatever the case is. And then you go after other businesses that you don't know. So somebody doing retail shops may not be, as Grant said, he's not a stock expert. I happen to be very versed in stocks. So I know certain categories. And why am I very versed in stocks? Because I deal with consumer products. I deal with retail outlets, and I can look underneath the hood. I was in on Shopify, the IPO at $23. It's now at $1,200. So I'll never have to work again if I just looked at my IPO money on Shopify. However, when I lost my ass in real estate, I decided that I'll leave that alone for a while, and now I have money with real estate guys and women that do the same thing. Grant, I just happened to meet him probably about 6 years after I'd already been in my already real estate funds with my guys. So it's no fear. What I was sharing with you is I lost at first. I went back, I licked my wounds, went back to what I know how to do, and now I diversify. And that's really an attribute to Grant, because if you aren't fortunate enough to be a Daymond John who you can put a couple of million in with some big boys because they see the value because they don't need your money, well, then if you have somebody like a Grant who is willing to do it, and he's and you have 1,000 or 10,000 people who can tell you, oh, he never screwed me, oh, I got my money, oh, we're doing well, then you have a great opportunity. And I'm not here, trust me, as you all know, I'm not here to push whatever Grant's doing if it wasn't accurate. Not that he's pushing it right now, but as I've seen the data out there and the people and the witnesses, I can tell you he's doing right by people.
And hey, Daymond, the first time you met me, do you want to tell everybody? I just think it's an entertaining story about what you thought of me when you first met or saw me online, I think Ted turned you on to me.